2025 Josh Allen shouldn't exist. You should not be that gifted, that fast, that talented, jump over linebackers, yet he never throws interceptions.
In 23 games since the start of last season, this brother Josh Allen has 8 turnovers. He's not turning over the football. He's elevated his level of play. And not only that, he's playing smarter. He's not turning the ball over, etc. I'm looking at it from that standpoint. I'm looking at the fact that you came back from a 15-point deficit with 5 minutes left and beat the Baltimore Ravens, who's widely considered to be the Super Bowl favorites.
Josh Allen's journey to becoming an MVP was truly insane. No, it's not surprising to see a top 10 pick earn the honor, but when you throw more interceptions than touchdowns in year 1 and can't even crack the 60% completion rate mark in year 2, the odds are stacked against you. For most young quarterbacks, that's the beginning of the end, not the start of an MVP trajectory. But 7 years later, Josh Allen is sitting pretty atop a very talented pool of NFL quarterbacks. And the transformation he undertook to get there is one of the most remarkable stories we've ever seen. But what exactly went into making it happen? Let's find out. Josh Allen is one of one, a rare quarterback who can balance creative brilliance and reckless aggression, and more often than not, come out on top. But what truly sets him apart isn't just the freakish dual threat ability, it's what he had to overcome to get here. Accuracy was, let's just say, not exactly this guy's strong point entering the NFL. His college career saw him average a completion rate of just 56.2%, and when he managed just 52.8% as a rookie while throwing 10 touchdowns and 12 interceptions, it wasn't looking good. Yes, this guy was a beast as a rusher, but completing under 60% of your passes is unacceptable in this league, let alone being under 55%. Why this was so concerning for Bills fans is that accuracy isn't typically the kind of thing that drastically improves, at least for most people. For Josh Allen, that 52.8% grew to 58.8% as a sophomore in 2019. That's promising for sure, but still not quite enough. Then in 2020, something truly remarkable happened. Josh Allen's completion rate jumped all the way from 58.8% to 69.2%. For context, that's a jump from 37th in the NFL in 2019, all the way up to 5th in 2020. That's among quarterbacks who played in at least 4 games. It's also not normal. In recent years alone, Anthony Richardson and Trey Lance come to mind. Both players were completely overdrafted based on physical traits, and now look like they may struggle to ever find a starting role because of the flaws in the passing. You go from a 58% completion rate one year to 69% the next. Well, having an alpha receiver certainly helps, and Buffalo got one of those for Josh by bringing in Stefon Diggs from the Minnesota Vikings in the 2020 offseason. But that's not all. Like I already mentioned, accuracy is one of the hardest things to see significant improvement in once you reach the NFL, particularly in season when most of the week is spent on game preparation and not fine-tuning your quarterback. Well, to that point, Josh Allen made this transformation possible by putting in the hours in the offseason, working with a 3D specialist by the name of Chris Hess. This is where the real magic happened, and to be honest, it's pretty technical. So why don't I just hand over to the main man himself to explain it.
Going into my 3rd year,
Right.
Jordan Palmer, and we have a guy by the name of Chris Hess.
Okay.
He's got a company called Biometric,
Right.
and we digitally mapped my mechanics, and like you do this thing, like you do this warm up and all of a sudden it connects all. After watching that and getting that breakdown of my mechanics, that's when things were like switched, because everything up top was beating everything down low. It was almost like reverse order.
The long and the short of it is that Josh Allen's throw motion was happening in the reverse order of what it really should. So the painstaking process of fixing it began with the help of some 3D technology. The result of this work was the Josh Allen 2.0 that we see today, which ultimately was horrendous news for the 31 other teams in the NFL. Now, as you might imagine, adding on 11% to your completion rate makes a pretty significant difference to your production. For Allen, he went from 3,089 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions in 2019 to 4,544 yards, 37 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions in 2020. That's one hell of a transformation, and the official arrival of the outrageous dual threat quarterback we see today. The reason it's so important to go back to this moment in Josh Allen's career is because it is central to why he is such a unique and terrifying weapon in this league. Before we go on with the video, could I please ask for a quick favour of a like and a subscribe? Any and all engagement is massively appreciated as I try and get this channel up and running. Anyway, back to the video. After Chris Hess unlocked this new version of Josh Allen, the Buffalo Bills quarterback went on a rampage. Over the next 4 seasons, he averaged 4,385 passing yards and 34 touchdowns per season. That is insane passing production, which then has to be combined with his average of 617 yards and 9 touchdowns on the ground per season as well. Of course, when your quarterback is dominating like that, it's going to serve your team pretty well. And for Buffalo in 2020, that meant a first division title since 1995. Not only that, but the Bills have held on to that title in every single season since. Obviously, the most recent of these is 2024, which, ironically, is the first time since his breakout campaign that Josh Allen has dipped below the 4,000-yard passing mark. A 63.6% completion rate for 3,731 yards and 28 touchdowns is certainly a dip from the highs we were seeing from this guy. But winning the MVP award is so much more than just putting up big numbers. First and foremost, it is worth mentioning that the 6 interceptions Josh Allen threw in 2024 were comfortably a career low, and just the second time he had ever posted an interception tally in the single digits. But the most impressive aspect of his 2024 season comes in the fact that his Buffalo Bills were the second highest scoring team in the entire NFL, averaging 30.8 points per game, despite him not having a 1,000-yard receiver and barely having a 1,000-yard rusher helping him out. Now, it is important to note that his offensive line was and still is elite. But aside from that, Allen's leading receiver on the year was Khalil Shakir with 821 yards and 4 touchdowns. Next up, we have rookie Keon Coleman with 556 yards and sophomore tight end Dalton Kincaid with 448. So not exactly eye-popping numbers from the receivers. Allen's running back stable is headed up by James Cook, who I genuinely think is one of the most talented and fun to watch running backs in the entire NFL. He broke out with a whopping 16 rushing touchdowns last year, but even he only just cracked the 1,000-yard mark with 1,009 rushing yards across the year. So the bottom line is, Josh Allen led the Buffalo Bills to becoming the second highest scoring team in the entire NFL without a 1,000-yard receiver and barely a 1,000-yard runner. That sounds like an MVP performance to me. And with all those guys looking even better this time around, I think he could well be on track for another MVP award. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that video. Josh Allen is one of the most unique players in the entire NFL and clearly one of the very best. Yet his story of how he got here is fascinating, and I thought it was worth a quick look back in time to the moment and the man that made it all happen. But do you think he can go back to back with these MVP awards? Let me know in the comments.